Hey guys, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and welcome back to the channel. So if you are new, welcome, and if you're coming back, welcome back. So here we have a review of this brand new kit from Academy, which is some people are only just getting now. It's been reviewed everywhere, so I don't even know why I'm reviewing it really, but I thought I'd just do it so you can have a look, because some of you like my reviews and some of you don't, so whatever. So here we have a very, very glossy box. As you can see there's a reflection of the camera and everything in there. If I put my hand over the top, you can see me waving. It's very, very glossy, beautiful artwork. And got the Academy down here very faintly, so if you wanted to, you could probably frame this. But very, very nice indeed. So the kit number is, where is the kit number? 12348. Looks like somebody forgot to count after 4. So looking around the box, we've got US Air Force A-10C 75th FS Flying Tigers. So very nicely done, and we've got some images there of the actual built-up model, which is nice to see, rather than having CAD images. Now, if you go over to Clive's modelling channel, you'll see he's building this. He did part 4 yesterday. I'm not sure if he's put part 5 out today. And I've been watching his build, and I've noticed a couple of issues with this kit. And I think there's a couple of issues. They're not major, and no, I'm not rivet counting, but I just think there's a couple of things on this kit that don't look quite right. And I'm sure that it'll be open to debate and everything. But on the end of the box, we've got the same sort of art as we've got on the front there. And then on the side here is a fantastic colour call out. So we've got all the colours down the side there, some with FS numbers as well. We've got Humber enamel and acrylics. We've got Mr. Hobby, Aqueous and Mr. Colour. We've got Life Colour. We've got Testers enamel and acrylics. We've got Revell enamel and acrylics. We've got Viejo model colour and model air. And we've even got AK Interactive. I don't know why we don't have Tamiya. Very, very strange. But this is a skill level 4, as you can see there. And then we've got some health and safety and contents information, 14 plus, and it says not included cement and paint. So let's have a look in the box. I haven't even opened the lid on this yet, so you're getting to see it the first time with me. So we've got a label here, and it says check with part list before unsealing. Replace and return not guaranteed when plastic is unsealed. Okay, so you can download the latest version of instruction manual for this model by visiting academyhobby.com, clicking the link for instruction and download and enter in the item number. So there you go. If you want to have a look at the instructions for this, go to academyhobby.com, as it says there, and put in 12348 and you can have a good look at the instructions. So there we are. Not quite sure I like that though. I mean, if you've opened the bag and you find that the part's twisted, or there's a load of mismatch, or you've got a short shot or something, what, they're going to not replace it if you open it? I don't know. So we've got a bag of bits here, which is all very nice. We've got a bag of clear parts there. There's a bag of sprues here all rattling around with each other, so hopefully there's no damage. There's another bag of sprues here with everything rattling around. As you can see, it's sensibly packed, so the sprues are back to back. So that's at least good. So you haven't got that sort of sliding up and down over the raised detail on the fuselage, and there is lots of raised detail. And then here we have our big sprue with wings. So very, very nicely moulded panel detail, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And then we have a bag here with our decals, which is very, very nice. Lots of decals in there. And then we've got a guideline for beginners for tools, so that's pretty good, handy for beginners. And then we have an instruction manual here, or do we have 2? Oh, we've got 3. We've got 3 bits of paper, so let's have a look and see what we've got here. So this is manual 2. So I think what I'm going to do is turn the camera off and have a look so I know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to all this. Right, so basically this sheet here is just a sheet of warnings in many different languages, and you know, may have some protruding parts for functional reasons. That's bad, isn't it? Avoid danger of suffocation by never putting small parts in the mouth. Okay. Yeah. So don't go putting your small parts in your mouth, and remember some of the bits in here could be male because they've got protrusions. So anyway, having a look on here, we've got the nice image there off the front of the box. Got some more cautions here. We've got their logos here, or their symbols for their different you're going to see through the instructions. So this is telling you make a hole, this is telling you to cement, this is telling you ×2. So I don't know why they've got that there, because they haven't actually got what the legend means. So again, once again, all our colour codes on here, which is really nice. We've got the FS colours as well, so that's cool. So going straight into the instructions, we start at step 10. No, we actually open this up and we start at step 1. So this is manual 1. I don't know why they've done this. Instead of just having 2 pages, they've called it manual 1 and manual 2. So we're going into the instructions and we're starting with the nose gear assembly. So there's lots of nice detail in there. Adding the nose gear, it looks like it drops in. So I don't think it needs to be fitted at this point, but we'll have a look at that when we come to build it, or go and look at someone else's build. I don't think I'll be building this for a while. I've got a very busy schedule at the moment. And then we're going to assemble the actual ejection seat, which looks very nice. It's a multi-part affair. It looks very nicely moulded. And we've got the control stick going in, and we've got that actuator there for the canopy. And then we've got the instrument panel, the shroud, and then these look like there's some cooling ducts or something that are blowing over the sides. Adding the cockpit interior into the nose, and then putting the nose together. Adding on the bottom, note there is no way of accessing the gun. It would have been nice to have a detailed gun in there, because it's nice to see because it's so huge, but there's no gun in there. We're adding the nose gear door. It's a bit weird, this assembly sequence, I must say. Looking at Clive's build, it's just very strange, the build sequence. Not the way he's building it, the way they've got it here. I mean, adding gear doors and stuff before you've even added the rear fuselage just seems a bit weird, doesn't it? We've got instructions there for painting the pilot figure, so obviously we have got a pilot figure. We've got some pylons here and some fins there, and we've got the other nose gear door going there with the actuators Y. And then we're going to go straight into the wings. So we've got air brakes open, we've got air brakes closed. I'm guessing they become ailerons and then become air brakes. Or is this like a B-52 where it doesn't actually have ailerons and it uses them as spoilers? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. So we've got some pylons here with the sway braces going on. And then we've got our pods here for the main landing gear going in. We've got flaps going in there, dropping the wing halves together. And then we're doing the same over here, adding all the pylons. And again, this is just absolutely crazy. You know, you're building up all your weapons. There's no harm in that. And sometimes do that first. So you're building up all your weapons, building up all your tail landing gear, or main landing gear, with the doors and actuators and everything, and adding it all onto the wing before you've even added the wing to the fuselage. So when you've got that on, how are you supposed to deal with the join, the seam? Just seems a bit weird. And they're showing you've got masking sheet in here as well. I'll show you the masking for the wheels and tyres. And then you're going to repeat all of that on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to go over the page, and we're going to fit the wings and then fit those fairings. I hope that's a nice fit, all of that. I'll have to look at Clive's and see how it goes together. But you've got the fairings going up the back there. This one's got the air brakes open. We've got more weapons being built. And then we go straight into manual 2, which is 13. And this one looks like it's in colour. So we're adding the dummy end of the GAU-8 gun there, which is gorgeous. We've got this sniper pod, is that? Have to check your references because they didn't all have that. And then we've got our rudders and fins going together. We've got the tailplanes going together there. And then we're adding the tailplanes and rudders to the aircraft. We've got some fins and aerials and stuff. Looks like an APU exhaust, is that perhaps? And then we've got some bits and pieces going on the tail cone there. Drop tank. And then we're going to start our engines. We've got this cassette sort of system where you build the engine up as a cassette and then slide it into the outer, which is slide molded as one piece, which is very nice. Then we have these leading edge slats going on here. I'm assuming they're slats. We're dropping the engines on, and then we're going to paint up our canopy, add the canopy in the open or closed position. Got the entrance ladder there, and we've got the front of the fuel filler cap going on. That's where the fuel gets filled. And then we've got common stencil data. So this is all our stencil data for the decals. And then coming over here, we've got the I'm guessing this is still stencil data, and then we've got some nice close-up actual photographs there of the real thing to show us where the stencils go. So that's really nice, and we've got all these walkway areas and everything marked out, and this lower lower area here. Is that a decal? No. Okay, so that's painted. I have actually seen in my reference material that is a pretty rough old shape, just roughly painted on, so don't worry about it being too perfect. And then here we've got the options. You've got the 2014 A10C of the 75th, 455th Bagram Air Force Base, Afghanistan, 2014. And then we've got here, this is A10Cs of the 75th and 23rd Fighter Group. We've got the A10C Tiger Sharks in Heritage Painting honouring 23rd Flying Group Flying Tigers 2017. That's nice because you've got the shark's mouth, you've got the tigers there on the engines, and you've also got the European camo on the tailplanes there, on the fins and rudders, I mean. And then we've got the version 4, 51st Osan Air Base, South Korea, 2021-2. So we're talking real modern stuff here. Black engine intake lid, both sides. So that's really up to date, that one. And that is about that. So here we've got the sprue call out. Didn't we get a sprue call out in this one as well? No, we didn't. So the sprue call out is at the end of the instructions, which is fine. And it is numbered, so that's always handy if you need to look at parts. And then we've got slide molded parts here. We've got our clear parts, we've got nose, rotary gun, fuselage, and the engine pods there, which is nice. All slide molded. And then we're back into step 13 of the user manual. So there we go. So 2 instruction manuals when one would have done. Bit weird, but hey ho, it doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't matter one little bit. So let's have a look at the decals. I don't want to get them out in case I don't build this for a while, but they do look very, very nice. I'm not sure, I don't remember using Academy decals. In fact, I don't think I've ever built an Academy aircraft, have I? I don't think I have. We've got full instrumentation there for our instrument panel and for the side panels. That looks like it's a fuel filler marking for air-to-air refueling. And then we've got lots and lots of stencils. We've got the Tigers there. These are kind of low vis. Well, they're not really, are they, I guess? We've got some checkers there for fins, I'm guessing. For the tops of the fins. And then we've got some stripes, some bits and pieces there for the stenciling. And then I think this is going to be for the weapons. Yes, that's for the GBU-12. That's for the ALQ-814. 184, sorry. And then these are our markings on the wings, I think. The walkway areas. I would prefer to paint those, to be honest. And then here we've got our chaff flare dispensers there. But very, very complete and lovely in register. Oh, yeah, the bag's open anyway, I can get them out. Duh. So yeah, they're not the thinnest I've seen, but they're certainly not the thickest. But they're very nicely in register, and they've got a very slight sheen to them, but they're very nice. So have a look at those as I pass them under the camera. They are very nice indeed, and there's lots of them. I can't see any cartograph on there or anything, so they're probably Academy's own. We've got this on there, 2022 Academy, and it's taken forever to get it. I've had an email today from Andy. He's finally received his after having it on pre-order for months. So he's chuffed, he's finally got it. And I said I got mine today, I ordered it Thursday, today being Tuesday. And then we've got some masks in there. Have a look at those, see what they're like. For some reason Clive isn't using these on his build, I don't know why, but they do feel very, very thin, and they look very, very nicely cut. But, maybe they don't fit very well or something. I'm sure Clive will tell us after he's watched this video, because he generally responds, he's very good like that. Let's have a look first of all in this bag then. This is all our slide moulded stuff. I don't mind opening these because I am going to build it, I'm not going to sell it. So let's have a look in here. See what we think. So we have in here bits that have been rattling around together, so hopefully nothing's damaged. We have our nose, which is cool. Again, it's all slide molded by the look of it. So we have our heads-up display there, which is beautiful. That is really, really nice. Yeah, it's a little bit thick, but the fact they've moulded it in one piece so you can just paint the frame rather than have to try and glue the heads-up display together without getting any glue on it, and that's really nice the way they've done that. So yeah, that is lovely. Well done, Academy, that's really nice. And then we've got the nose here, which is very nicely moulded. We've got lovely, those panel lines are gorgeous. They really are nice. They're very sharp. They're fairly deep, but they're not very wide. So a very slight mould line down the middle, but literally, you know, with a sander, but more about that in a minute. So yeah, that's really, really nice. Lovely. And then we've got the end of our GAU8. You know what I'm doing. That's really lovely. You could draw those barrels a little deeper, but beautifully moulded with the detail on the side, and you can see the barrels on the inside. It's very nice indeed. In fact, I'm going to get a light on, get some more light on here, because that is lovely. In fact, I think you probably see it without the light, can't you? There we go. Engines here, so these again are slide moulded, and they are beautifully made. I'm not sure what that is in there. It's just a loose piece of plastic. But yeah, they are beautifully slide moulded. All the rivet detail and everything. It's a shame they've shoved them in a bag and had to rattle around with this, because there's probably some damage. I mean, there's a tiny little chip taken out of that antenna there, or whatever it is on the bottom. But beautifully done. It's all recessed here and then raised at the back. So that is a really nice feature. Again, we've got a mould seam here to get rid of in between those raised rivet lines, but I would suggest just get a piece of masking tape. I got masking tape that I use here, second hand. Just get a piece of masking tape, mask up your rivets, come along, scrape that line just gently, and then remove your masking tape. But I haven't done that properly, but you use the masking tape so that when your knife slides over, it doesn't take any rivets out. And then here we've got a step on there. That's absolutely nothing. That'll take nothing. I'm going to turn this light off. It's better without it, isn't it? There we go. You can see there's a mould seam along there, but that's going to be absolutely nothing to get rid of. But it's a lovely way to do it. It is very, very nice indeed. However, if somebody comes out with an engine detail set for it, you're going to have to cut open your beautifully slide moulded parts. But, you know, hey-ho. So there's a hinge there. So that whole panel would have to come out and be lifted up, I'm guessing. So that's the sort of thing Black Dog would do, isn't it? So very nice. I'll just show you that detail close up. It really is lovely. That detail on the bottom with those panels. The rivets, you've got the raised rivets around the back and recessed rivets everywhere else. Very nice indeed. And here we have this is our main tail section. And this is again one piece slide moulded. Very nice, but straight away I'm noticing the rivet detail on here is a lot more pronounced than it is on there. So I just have to give that a little tiny wipe over. You can probably hear, listen. You can't. That rivet detail there is a lot more pronounced than that side. Again, there's a seam down the middle, there's a bit of a step there. But again, just put some masking tape over it and just very gently scrape. We should be able to remove that seam, no problem. Unfortunately, if your mould had a bit of mould misalignment, had a step there, but there's hardly anything there. You can see it there. But very nicely done. Lots of raised rivet detail. I'm just looking for the seam. So there's a seam there. So there's going to be a seam down here somewhere. I can't see it. It's probably right on that panel line. Or no, it's there. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. It's about, I'll put the knife blade on the middle of it. Okay, so now you know where you're looking. But it is very, very faint. With all those rivets about, you have to be extra careful. But yeah, you got the APU exhaust there, so that wasn't an APU exhaust I saw. There's the APU intake. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. Right, let's have a look in these bags. I'll just pick them up as they come. So this is obviously 2 sprues of wingy bits. Chuck the bag over there. Let's get those parts out of the way. So we have here, this is sprue B. I love the way they do this. This great big B that you can see. So yeah, we have wingy bits, which are very, very nice indeed. And the panel lining is just amazing. It is so nice. I can't explain it. It's very much like Border Model with that Stuka. It's really definite. It's like instead of just a faint line, it's a definite square section recess, which is fairly deep but not at all wide. If you can see it on there, if you can make it out, but it's really, really nice. Very nice. I don't know about the accuracy of it, but it's very, very nice indeed. And when you look up in here, you can see in the wheelbase we've got all this detail down in there, which is bloody gorgeous. We've got our intakes there, more on that later. And we've got whatever pod that is on the side, and we've got some flaps there by the look of it. And there's our leading edges to go on the inner end of the wings here. I don't know if they're slats or what they are, I'll have to look it up. So that's that one. I've got some super glue. I'll make sure I don't put my sprues in super glue. And then here we have our fins with rudders, all moulded integrally, so that's good. And then we have our tail plane with our elevators, and they're all moulded integrally, so that's good, unless you want to position them. Here we've got the, is that part of the upper fuselage or the lower fuselage? That's the upper, isn't it? I think that slots into there, I think. We've got fairings there for our wings. You'll get a close-up look in a minute. We've got some ailerons, or flaps, whatever they are. I think they're ailerons. Oh, they're parts of the air brakes, aren't they? So I'm guessing they use the air brakes as ailerons. I'm going to have to look into that. And we've got the same here. So we've got them closed or open. There's our pods there for our undercarriage. So that's the pod around the main undercarriage. And then on the front here, you've got the fuel filler. There's the fuel filler cap there. More on that later. But there's the mechanism inside the air brakes if you have them open, or the spoilers, whatever you call them. There's the detail on that upper panel there, which is lovely. You can see we've got all raised rivet detail on our fins and rudders, so that's all very nice. The raised detail there on the tailplane is stunning. This is definitely by far the best 48 scale A10 out there, but apparently Great Wall Hobby are doing one, and if Great Wall Hobby are doing one, it will probably be the best. We will have to get one. A10 is an aircraft I absolutely love. But yeah, very, very nice indeed. Lovely, crisp, clean moulding and panel lines. Well, they're just gorgeous. Got 2 sprues in here. Bag. So we'll put that one up out of the way. Have a look at this one. So here's our, whatever it is, I can't remember what it's called. It's some sort of pod. Is it a lightning pod? And then we've got a drop tank here with the fins on. Got a couple of pylons. As you can see, lots and lots of, that's the infrared, is it, that one there? IFF, I'm not sure. So I'm useless on weapons. But there we go. So you can see, very, very nicely done. Again, very, very clean. You can see the hinges on there on that panel. Or rivet detail, whatever it is for a mounting flange, I'm not sure. But very beautifully done. Sway braces. Very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Here we've got a major sprue. This is really nice. So we've got our cockpit here. There's the underbelly of the, yeah, that's going to be the underbelly of the engine, so that's going to go on there. We've got wheels here, which have got weight on them, on the nose and the main gear. We've got the cockpit, front fuselage section. There's the seat. I'm going to give you a close-up of this in a minute. There's the seat. We've got some more pylons there, and they're single piece. So they've got a little bit of sinkage in them. but I'm sure with a coat of matte paint you won't see it. But they've got sink mark there, sink there, a little bit of sinkage in there. But, these are single piece as well, so that's nice. You just cut them off the sprue and chuck them on. Lovely. So there's the seat backrest there. There's the sides of the seats. So you can look at them, they're absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got the cockpit there with all the lovely raised detail for the instruments and everything. I'm sure Tom at Anise is going to go to town on this with aftermarket. I bet he does. There's your front gear bay. So that's absolutely beautiful. You can see on there that engine pod, you've got all that lovely raised rivet detail there, which is really nice. And those pylons, as you can see there, lovely. You turn them over and you've got the same on the other side, so very, very nicely done. There's the gun there without the front on. The front's obviously going to pop on like that in there. So there you go. Yeah, nice. Nice. And then here finally, oh no, not finally, because we've got the clear parts, haven't we? This one here. Again, we've got 4 sprues in this bag. So those 2 there. Just like Live Up, we've got an armless guy. So we have this sprue here. So this is our, I'm guessing they're going to do different versions. This is going to be the C. I'm guessing they've got different versions for this, otherwise they wouldn't have it on a separate sprue. Or maybe they're going to do one with a gun, with internal gun detail. But you can see there's your lower panel there. You've got the gun panels here. Obviously the gun is so big the undercarriage has to be offset from centre. But you can see on there the detail. The panel lining on this is just exquisite. It's absolutely gorgeous. You've got some raised detail at the back, and then this is all recessed up here. So very pretty indeed. There's our tail section there. We've got the cover for the instrument panel itself. And then we've got a side for the front nose gear door. We've got some antenna and stuff here. So yeah, all in all, antenna there, really, really nice. Look at the beautifully done. Very, very nice indeed. And then on here, oh sorry, we've got an arm there. So I'm not sure where that's come from. It's come from, don't know where that's come from, because I've got an arm there and I've got an arm there. And I've got 2 arms, 3 arms. Ah, it's come from there. Okay, so it's 42. So we've got 2 identical sprues here. So we have a man with no arms and no head, and then we have a head. We'll have 2 heads, one with the visor down, one with the visor up, and then we've got arms, probably arms on knees or arms on controls or whatever, or maybe that's just his hand, put his thumb up there. But got some weapon parts there, some more weapon parts. There's the pods for the engine, and there's your exhausts. Andy sent me a link. DN Models are doing some engine exhausts if you wanted to replace them. But personally, I mean, I think the biggest bit of these changes is the intakes. Those fans, when you look at the rest of this kit and the detail involved and the detail they've done with all the surface steel and everything, I think that is quite poor. That's what I'd expect to see out of a 1980s kit. You know, it's not very nice at all. And I know that there's a lot of manufacturers doing better than that. I would have thought they would have given you something like that and then a fan to go on the front, because I'm not sure if the front's a compressor or if it's a stator. But either way, you're going to have a compressor and you'll probably have a stator behind it. So it'd be nice to see, you know, a little bit of depth. But I'm sure the aftermarket would jump on that and somebody will come up with something. Probably ResKit will come up with a beautiful resin intake there. But more on that later. And then there's your exhaust turbine there. The back of the engine. And again, we've got all these weapons here. I don't know what they are. Got some more there. They're made in halves basically, so you're going to have to glue them together. So I'm guessing that kind of wondering where okay, that's the other half of that one. Duh. That's right, I'm absolutely dog tired, guys. Jess had her operation yesterday. I had about 3 hours sleep last night and about 2 hours sleep the night before, so I'm absolutely shattered. So yeah, really, really nice. Very, very crisp. Really lovely. As I say, I think the only letdown is that those intakes, I think they're bloody awful. I mean, on something like a, you know, like a 747 or something, where they're not so pronounced, you know, or if that was an intake like in an F-16 where it's way down inside the fuselage, fine, no problem with that at all. But on an A-10, I mean, when you look at the front of the box, you can see, there they are, they're huge, and it's sort of where the eye goes, and they're just bleh. I would definitely buy aftermarket ones of those. So there we go. So that's that. So we'll have a look at the clear parts. We will get these out because I think I have an issue with them. Nige has an issue with some parts? No. Nige never has issue with parts. They are very, very clear. Very nice indeed. Now, I thought I saw some lines, like machine lines in them from the tool. But it must be a combination of the plastic bag. That's really weird. I can see it here. It looks like it's sort of, you know, the tool's not been perfectly polished, like it's got steps in it. But when you take it out of there, it's absolutely fine. You can see they are lovely. Really clear. There's a tiny little seam to remove there. Don't remove that seam. But and you can see on the front as well. Really nice. And they've included the panel, so if you want to do a diorama, that whole lot sort of pivots up, and I think this comes with it. But it also means if you're gluing it closed, you don't have to get any glue anywhere near the glazing, which is good. And we have here, we have little greeblies and lights or something. I haven't got a clue what that is. Like a little angled thing, and then there's that as well. I don't know what that is. But, very, very nice. It's a very impressive kit, I must be honest. Now, I have spoken to someone who has built, some of you all know who I'm talking about, who has built the Tamiya and has built the Hobby Boss, and he's got another Hobby Boss that shows how happy he is. And I hear the Hobby Boss kit is very, very nice. But I also hear that everybody's saying that this is by far better. So I don't know. Now, I don't have the Hobby Boss, so I can't comment. I don't have the Tamiya, I don't have the Italeri, and I don't have the Monogram, or Revell, whatever. I think the Monogram Revell one are the same, are they? They may be different. But as I say, the guy I know has built the Tamiya, and he's built the Hobby Boss, and he thinks the Hobby Boss is gorgeous. But he did say the Tamiya was a bit of a dog. Raised paddle lines, lots of seam issues, fit problems and stuff like that. So it's early Tamiya, you know, like the Harrier, not very good. So he wasn't over the moon with that one. But he's going to get this one, I think, because he thinks it's the best. But I have told him that the Great Wall Hobby are apparently doing one, and he's like, I'll probably wait for that then. Because Great Wall Hobby do make beautiful, beautiful kits. But they get shape issues as well. So we shall see. Now, I hope you've enjoyed that review. I will be building this at some point in the future, but it won't be in the near future because I've got, as you know, I've got the Lancaster to finish. I've got the Spitfire to finish as soon as the clear parts come back. I've started on the Sky Crane because I promised I would as soon as it arrived. And I've got the Qatari Spitfire on its way as soon as it's available. And I'll be starting that as soon as it's arrived. So I've also, a lot of you have asked for the F-35, and I will be doing the F-35 probably before this. But I think the F-35 and this sat next together on the shelf would look absolutely stunning. I've got one of those IKEA cabinets I can build up, so I need to build one of those up and get a couple of these in there because they're perfect for 48 scale fighters like these. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Now, I haven't finished. If you're not interested in rivet counting, shape issues or whatever, then please switch off now. Please don't comment below that, oh, you're bloody rivet counting and sucking all the fun out of the hobby. I am not. This kit will build into a beautiful model that will, you know, your grandmother would recognise as an A10 Warthog. There is absolutely nothing wrong in that aspect. But I watched Clive's build and I've seen a couple of things that I think look a little bit off. So I've got my references out and I've had a look and I think I'm right. Just looking at things. The reason I look for these things is because I have the Trumpeter kit, the 132nd kit, and as we know, that kit's got its issues as well. So I kind of look for this stuff, and you generally find if a manufacturer makes a problem, you'll find the next manufacturer will do exactly the same thing. So, you know, it's very strange to see. So what I'm going to do now is grab my references and I'm going to show you what I think are the couple of small issues on this kit that could be sorted out. There's one issue I think is going to be nigh on impossible to cure, but I think the other three I've got would be quite easy. So I'll grab my references and then I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so for my reference material, I have these books here and these are beautiful. I bought these many moons ago. I don't know when this was published, but I bought it then. Wow, 2007. So I bought this in 2007 and soon after it went out of stock, you could see these, I don't know if they sold, but you'd see them being advertised for like £500. It was the same with this one. I bought this one when it came out. What's the date on this one? It's quite old, 2012, so it's 5 years newer than that one. But if I see a book come out that I like, I'll buy it straight away because these days they don't tend to stay around for long and then they fetch silly prices. So these are my two reference books. This is the ones Clive's using, and it's awesome because it shows you all the variations between the different marks and everything. As far as the actual aircraft itself goes, I don't think there's any difference between the A and the C. You know, they use the same engines. I think the whole sort of main structure of the aircraft is identical, but it's going to have different weaponry, different pylons, stuff like that. Definitely different cockpit. They always do, don't they? That's one thing they do upgrade, but I don't think the engines or anything changed. There's certainly no mention of it in here as a guide to, you know, which engine's which. So what I'd like to do is just have a quick look through here and I'll show you what I think. And basically, this is just from watching Clive's build, I've noticed these issues. This is not in any way whatsoever a slant on Clive's building, his skills, his modelling, whatever. It's just something I noticed and I thought maybe I'd just share it with you. It's not rivet counting, as I say, it's some people call it rivet counting, but it's just something I've noticed, so I'm just sharing it. So first things first, let's have a look at the nose. I believe there are issues with the nose. Now Clive mentioned this in his part 4 video. I think, is this, yes, this is the nose here. And what he did, he showed us an image side on, which I thought I had marked. But you can see, here we are, this is the one he showed us. So when you look at it side on, you can see, let me get this piece of sprue off because it's a pain. Where are my cutters? They're underneath the sprues. Hang on. As you can see, Mr. Prepared as usual. Let's get that sprue off of there because it's a pain. Right, so you can see here that the side profile of the nose is pretty good. Okay, that is pretty good. If I bring it up, it will nearly come. I think it just needs a little bit taken off of there. I think it's a bit too, you know, I think you could just do with a bit of sanding there to make it more pointed down here. If you look at the photograph, you'll see what I mean. It needs to be a bit sharper there, I think, but whatever. But then when you look at this one, it kind of looks a lot different. So, you know, there's probably some variation in the noses, but I think the side profile nose, awesome, nothing wrong with it. But I think the nose on perspective, if you look at this photograph here, you can see that the nose is coming out to a point where my finger is, and you can see it kind of comes up and goes off there, and you can see where the painted lines are of the refueling door, you can see where the, where it goes from a flat and starts to radius off. And as you can see on there, it's a lot wider. It's a lot wider in that area than it is on there. So I think a few swipes with a sanding stick down the side here, just to sort of take away this shoulder here. It's got this, you can see it's got this kind of shoulder to it there. Where I've marked those circles. And I think if you sand those away and taper it back, I think it'll be spot on. Having said that, if you look at this picture here, it does kind of look in the light, it does kind of look a bit like a big flat, and then it tapers off. So I think all they've done is just, I think they've just got this, it just needs to be tapered off a bit more, I think. And that will also remove material from the top, which will get it more in line with that shape there. So I think it's literally a case of sanding, maybe a bit of pre-scribing in there just to put the line back in. I don't know why they've got no door in the nose. There's no moulded detail for the door whatsoever. But they've kind of got half a line in there. You can see there's a line which goes across halfway, if I can catch it in the light. There you go. You can see that line there. So I think there's a bit of scribing required there. So that's my issue with the nose. I mean, it's far better than Trumpeter's attempt. Trumpeter's is like a bloody, it's huge. But this, I think, needs just a bit of fettling, just to get it to look a bit more like that, sort of a bit sharper and less sort of humpy in that area. And when I build it, I'll do it, and I'll show you what I mean. And it's an easy fix. It's 5 minutes with a sanding stick. The next issue I have is with the engines. Oh no, this is going to be the fuel filler. So we have here the pods for the this is the main landing gear pods, and this is where the fuel filler is, I believe that's the fuel filler, and there's a control panel in there as well. And you look here, they've got a picture of it straight on. Okay, and when I looked at Clive's, it kind of looks flat. It looks like it's squashed down. So I got my references out and had a look, and sure enough, the bottom, you can see here where it's looking straight onto that cover, it's got quite a radius in it. And when you look at the actual kit parts, here it is. When you look at the kit part for the back of that door, and you can see here, it's very flat on the bottom. So when you look at that radius on there, and then you look at the shape of that, you can see it's a completely different shape. Like over the top, the radius over the top is quite flat. You can see it when you look at the back of the door as well. So basically what you're looking at in that photograph is that, and you can see the difference in the shape. You can see the difference in the shape of that door and that part. I'll bring it into focus, see the shape on there. Bring this into focus, see the shape on there. So I think that'll be easy to correct with a bit of filler or something on the bottom just to round it all up. But it's just like when I look at it on Clive's model and he picks it up and it's looking straight at the... In fact, I think his part 3 video, the actual image is him pointing at that. So he's on the image for his video, it's pointing at that. So it kind of, it just looks squashed, and you can see what I mean there. It's kind of, maybe it's just too wide, I don't know, but something worth looking into. But these pods definitely don't look the right shape. They look squatted to me, to my eye. So that was just something I picked up there. And the other two things relate to the engines. Now, I've already mentioned in my review, these fans I think could have been a hell of a lot nicer. I mean, like, look at that compared to that. You can see it's just not three-dimensional enough. They should have made it a bit deeper. I mean, maybe with a wash they'd look alright, but that's what you'd expect to see in a 1980s 747 kit for their engines. I think it's pretty poor for 2023. But having said that, I mean, the rest of it is bloody gorgeous. So that's one thing. I hadn't noticed it, but Clive pointed it out. And when you look at the kit, you'll see it. The engines aren't deep enough. If you look at that picture there, you can see there that the bright silver compressor blades are far too far forward in the engines. When you look at these images here, you can see they're quite well back in, so it looks like they could be moved back a bit, which I don't think would be too difficult. And you can see in some of the pictures in here exactly what I'm talking about. You can see, like in there, how far down in they are. They're quite a way down in. They're not as close to the front. I mean, when you look at these shots, you can't even see the blades. You know, they're too far forward. And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't noticed that. Clive pointed it out. You can see on that one how far back they are. So there we go. You can also see on that one how far back they are. So that's one thing. But the thing I noticed with the engines, two major points. When you look at the intakes, to my eye, they look too sharp. They look, again, let's go back to the kit. If you look at that, they look, I don't know how to describe this. If I was to slice down through the middle of the engine, okay, you would see like a section like this. You'd have the intake here. If I were to slice down here, okay, take a slice down through the middle of there, like that, you would see the two ends. And I think it's too much like this instead of like that. I think it's too sharp. Now, I think if you just removed, I mean, it would make the engines look even worse, because then your fans would be even closer to the front. But I think if you remove some material from the front of here and sanded them round to get them softer, you can see on here, it's quite soft. It sort of radiuses in, and then it radiuses around the front, and then it radiuses around the inside. Whereas, you know, they've got here more of sort of that sort of section, whereas I think it should be more sort of that sort of section. I think it should be a lot fatter. And the other thing is, you can see on here, when you look at the engine straight on, okay, the actual pylons for the engines, you can see they've got them, they sort of come off the engine at a tangent and go straight, whereas in reality they come much further down and go around. So they're sort of, the engines are kind of, you know, there's your pylon and there's your engine, rather than what they've done here. They've got, there's your pylon, there's your engine. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of, you can see here, you can almost form a straight line there up to the engine, okay? Whereas on here, you can see I can't form a straight line at all. We've got all the area underneath there. So I think that would be extremely difficult to repair, particularly with all that raised rivet gear. That would need a complete replacement part that's been correctly shaped. But, you know, as I say, it doesn't matter. It looks like an A10. It's just my observation. But I think that the two things I think must be done on this model to make it look better is just that bit of sanding on the nose, and definitely this engine intake thing. Because I think, to me, this all looks A10 beautiful. That doesn't. I think they look like somewhat off a toy. But again, in my opinion, I'm rivet counting or not, I don't know. But I'm just sort of opening people's eyes to what they might want to see or not. I don't know. But I also found it very interesting, these jet exhausts, the actual outer cover is not metallic or anything. It's painted grey and it's remained that way. So amazing. But they could have done a better job with those intakes. They're horrible. So I'm sure it would be easy to do, to sort of cut some off of these, remove some material from here, mount that compressor a bit further back, and then just add a ring of plastic inside. I don't know, but I don't think it would be too difficult. Maybe if the resin aftermarket company are doing this, make it this diameter so it fits inside your intake like that. Yeah, but have it further back in just to get it, and it needs to be about probably 3 or 4 mil. It's just to make it deeper in there, because it's way too near the front. As I say, I didn't even notice that. Clive pointed out that. Anyway, without doubt, at the moment, the best A10 there is, without doubt. But I think the Great Wall Hobby one will be spot on, because they normally are, aren't they? So anyway, thanks for watching. As I say, Please don't leave any horrible, rude comments below about rivet counting and all that, and because I'll just delete them. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on or anything else you've observed on the kit that you think could be changed, modified, updated, easily changed, or whatever. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.